And welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. My name is Gary, just one Gary. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to bring to you somebody that, I've known for several years, I guess. It's been several years. And she is one of those leaders in the area. And, she's an author. Get this, guys. She's an author, a published author, an incredible book. She's also a business owner and an entrepreneur. I mean, check this out. And it is actually amazing coffee. Guys, y'all give it up for none other than Sheila Kelsey. Sheila, can you hear him clapping for you?
Gary, I've got you loud and clear, man. Thank you so
gosh.
much for that warm introduction. You're so
Gosh.
kind.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining me here today. I wanted to give you a chance to share a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Well, I appreciate that. And first and foremost, I just want to thank you for inviting me to come on the show and share a little bit about who I am and what I do. So this is pretty exciting for me. Thank you. As you already mentioned, I've written a book. So I guess I could say I'm a published author, right? Yes, I'm a published author. It's out there. It's on Amazon. It's in the world. And my husband and I have just recently launched a coffee cart business. So we're super excited about that right now because what I've discovered is who doesn't like coffee? I think I found like three. There's like three people that I know that don't drink coffee, but beyond that, everybody drinks coffee. So it works out to our favor. So I like that.
Exactly. Three people. I'm worried about those three people. We'll pray for them. They'll come around eventually. So. And so Sheila, thank you so much for joining me today. Guys, I want to encourage you to go out and check out this book. This is an absolutely amazing book because it really talks about overcoming struggles and obstacles that a lot of people would have given up. But what Sheila does is she talks about her story in this book where she overcame and she went above and beyond some things that some people should never have to go through. And yet she is I don't want to call her a survivor. She's a victor of getting through these struggles and obstacles. So it's just an absolutely incredible book. So please make sure you check this out on Amazon. And then also, guys, I don't do commercials, but if it's something that I truly believe in or truly like, and I have been a fan of this coffee, and this is part of her business, it's called the Hummingbird Coffee. I love coffee, and this is probably one of the best coffees I've had. So please check it out. We'll put the link in the website to her business in the comment section as well, but please make sure you check it out. So Sheila, you are an incredible individual because, not only the obstacles that you've overcome, you're a published author, you're an entrepreneur starting a coffee company with coffee. And so I love to reach out to these kinds of leaders, peek behind the curtain and say, hey, what inspires you to be the leader that you are? And you shared with me some great topics. I can't wait to dig into these topics with you. So the first one that you talked about was journey of transformation. So tell us, what does that mean? And how does a journey of transformation inspire you?
Yes. So when I think journey of transformation, I think of individuals who have overcome great adversity in their life and never threw in the towel, never gave up. Like somehow, even if it was just 1 ounce of hope, that they were able to get a glimmer of from another person, from a situation, whatever it may be. They said, you know what, I've got one more day in me. I've got one more try. And it's so powerful because, and I speak from personal experience, I've been there. I've been at the bottom of the barrel, hopeless, defeated, depressed, suicidal thoughts where I was just done. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. And so in those darkest times, and not just in those darkest times, but I think throughout my life, whenever I've gone through situations that have been so challenging, there's always like this glimmer of hope that comes by way of another person that shows you what's possible. It's like, oh, okay, well, that I can relate to what they're going through. And if they can overcome, or if they can make it past this hurdle, well, then you know what, maybe I can too, just maybe. So.
Oh my gosh, Sheila, there's two things that really popped out from what you just shared. And the first one is the 1 ounce of hope. I think even when we're in our darkest moments and are, like you said, the bottom of the barrel, no matter how bad we think it is, we feel it is, or it actually is, if you have that 1 ounce of hope, it doesn't take much to help you get to the next level, or to stand up, or to open your eyes and start moving forward, no matter how bad it is, or it seems, or it feels. And the second thing that really stood out to me, Sheila, was the other person. You talked about how if you see another person that is going through similar things, or setting an example of overcoming obstacles, then that's a person you can relate to. And that's a person that helps you with that 1 ounce of hope overcome. And I really want to encourage, and Sheila, you truly are that person that has, I would say you have a ton of hope, and you are the person that other people can connect to help them overcome struggles. And so I encourage everybody, be that person for other people, to give them hope, to fill, even if they have 1 ounce of hope, fill it, give them a little bit more, and be an amazing example to help them through those obstacles. Sheila, that is some great stuff, starting us off just like, I love it. So the next thing you shared with me is transparency. So tell us, how does transparency inspire you? Where does that come from?
So transparency, and I'm trying to think of the best way to give a great example, but think about like in a business environment, a work environment, and you've got a leader, a boss, a manager, whoever, and they've got the I know it all type attitude, like I just do this because this is how we do it, and I know, and I know, and I know. There becomes this disconnect because there's nothing relatable or personal. It's like, and I'm talking about like the more harsh type of leadership, right? The person who's just like black and white, this is what it is, no grace, no mercy, no compassion. It makes it difficult as a team to be able to respect and grab hold of the vision and move forward, versus the leader who says, you know what, I know this is a tough journey and I've been working through this, and I know what you're doing right now is difficult because I've been there too, or that's really challenging, let me help you through that. And they acknowledge maybe their faults. I've been blessed to be under some great leaders that they'll actually acknowledge their faults and their shortcomings, and they're like, well, that's why we have you here, because I need your help with this. And then you're like, yeah, I get to help out, like he wants my help, or she needs something from me that I have to offer, so yeah, like I want to be a part of that. So that's just like one angle of transparency. I mean, there's different facets of life, right, where transparency is so important. But in the work environment, like how powerful is that when a boss can actually not stand up from a position of like, well, I'm the boss and this is what everything must go down just the way that I say. Instead, they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm a human just like you and me, and gosh, I need your all's help. Let's do this as a team. Let's figure this out together.
I love that. Absolutely. And I think that transparency, I think a lot of us leaders, I think we should take note from what you just said, is don't stand up on your pedestal and put your hands on your hip and say, I know all. The engagement comes from saying, hey, I need your help. And I love, Sheila, how when you made that story, that your eyes lit up saying, hey, I can help. And that's where engagement comes from, when you're engaging your team in the process of making things better. And I truly believe, as a leader, if you're not transparent, saying, hey, I don't have all the answers, and reaching out for help, then you're missing the point. You're missing the opportunities to create engagement with those team. And I love that. And you said you've had some leaders that really, opened up and asked for that help. Yeah.
So it's an amazing feeling, because like I said, it makes you just want to give that much more.
There you go. And I think that's perfect. When a leader asks for a team member's help in the right way, in the right manner, then that team wants to do more, wants to create more engagement than just doing tasks. I mean, anybody can do a task, but if you're involved in that process, watch out. That's a whole nother world.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, hey, so the last thing that you shared with me that inspires you, and I really like this one, because this is part of my life as well, that I do my best to authenticity. So where does this come from, this authenticity, and how does that inspire you?
So again, I kind of feel like it's almost hand in hand with transparency, but I think about in our church, my husband and I are marriage mentors, and we have a great couple of pastors who are the lead of this marriage ministry. And it's their job day in and day out, to oversee this ministry and lead us and guide us as marriage mentors so that we can then mentor other couples that come forth. And one of the things that they've done really well is they have been open about their own journey throughout their marriage. Like, they have shared very publicly the reality of their marriage almost fell apart as pastors, as leaders within a church. What had taken place to get to that point where it almost didn't survive. And I remember when they first shared that, and they've shared it a couple of times since then, but when they first shared that, you could almost feel the whole room just lean in and just feel for them, be like, what, like, you guys went through that? And it's in those moments, like I said earlier about, the journey of transformation, where we have something to connect to, because how many marriages in that room were silently in their head? How many couples were thinking like, wow, so we're in this situation and we're on the brink, or we struggled really difficult, through a difficult situation last year, and we're coming back from that. And then they feel like they can really connect with those pastors, because a lot of times we see pastors as like, oh, way up there, holier than thou, right? And they're human just like you and I. But they chose to lead this ministry with authentic hearts, being transparent and open, sharing what their journey has been, so that we also might be encouraged and find hope and realize, like, yeah, we can make it through anything if we just try.
Yeah. And that is so true. One of the points that you mentioned, Sheila, is the something to connect to. And I think this kind of goes back a little bit even to that, the leader you talked about in the transparency piece was, if you're too black and white or you're too perfect, then how can you relate to, how can you connect with? And I think that, as you mentioned, the pastors, the marriage ministry pastors are very open to saying, hey, we struggled and this is what we did to get better. And I love that, because that gives us, and hey, Sheila, I was in that room, my wife and I were in that room, open eyes and leaning in with you guys as well, saying, hey, if they went through the struggles, they're human like us. And and we connected with them, right? You
felt it too, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what gives us, in my opinion, that, like you said, the connection to say, hey, you know what, if they went through it and I'm going through it, they survived it, got better from it, I can too.
Yeah.
And do you feel like leadership is something very similar, that you can connect those dots as well?
Absolutely, because what happens when you lead with a transparent and authentic heart as you're leading, as you're guiding, it shows other people what's possible.
That is so true. Yeah. So lead with an open, transparent heart. Your team sees what you've gone through, how you overcome obstacles, and they're going to, that gives them something, like you said, something to connect to.
Yeah.
Sheila, so good. So many great nuggets of wisdom from you this. Thank you so much. Hey, we're getting close to the end of our time, and it has been absolutely incredible to chat with you, Sheila. And I always love talking to you and your husband whenever we get a chance to catch up. You guys are fantastic, all the energy in the world. So it's just always, I'm better for it every time I get a chance to talk to you both, and it's fantastic. I want to give you a chance to share a closing thought with us before we wrap up here today.
Oh gosh. Okay. So first of all, thank you again for your time here. And you've got an amazing energy that comes through, and just you're one of those energy producers in life. So thank you for being in our life as an energy producer. But as a closing thought, on this topic, you might be going through something or have gone through something really difficult in your life, thinking that you're the only person that's ever gone through that. And maybe you went through it and now you're healed from it, and you've been able to overcome, and there's good fruit that's come from it. So my encouragement to you is look around the people who are near you and see who might be able to glean from, grow from, be encouraged by what you went through, because there's always people looking for a glimmer of hope every day. And you might just be that person who can share your story with them that'll give them that hope, that next little oomph to get to the next level.
Oh my gosh, Sheila, that's so good. It's so powerful. So it resonates so well, because it just goes back to what you talk about. An ounce of hope can keep you going. And if there's another person out there that is willing to support you, to share their story, to help you overcome those obstacles, that ounce of hope can turn into just a wellspring of life, just producing good fruit. Sheila, so amazing. I got little goosebumps from that. So thank you for that. Guys, please go check out this book. It's absolutely, it's one of those emotional kind of take your breath away kind of books. And it ends well. It has a great story, a great lesson, great fruit from this story, even though it's hard to get through in some of the sections, but it's a great story of overcoming obstacles. So please check this out on Amazon. I'll put the link in the comment section as well. And then also make sure you guys check out the Hummingbird Coffee. She's an author, she's an entrepreneur, she's a business owner, she's absolutely incredible. She's a leader. The Hummingbird Coffee I'm a little bit of a coffee snob. This coffee is fantastic. So you 3 people that don't like coffee, come on now. Try this coffee. It'll turn you around. It'll make you better.
Exactly.
Right? Sheila, thank you so much for joining me today on the Super Fantastic Exchange. Guys, please make sure you go check out Sheila and her business, her book. Absolutely amazing. And we will see you on the next episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. We'll see you guys.